YouTube is not the end all be all, and it's definitely a great resource, but the very first thing that you need to be doing is... Hey guys, I'm back with another video. My name is Deondra, hence the name of my channel, Deondra.Dev, where I talk about all things tech, how to get into tech, what my personal journey has been since exploring the technology space, or information technology space. I guess I should stop saying tech. More specifically, I'm looking to become an independent cybersecurity engineer, specialist, and some years from now, because you got to get that experience first. But I'm currently in school for cloud computing. I'm getting my bachelor's in cloud computing at Western Governors University, and I currently work as a network engineer. Although I just got promoted, so I'm certainly not going to come to you as though I'm like this professional with this wealth of knowledge, because that is not the case. I just started off as a technical support representative a few months ago, back in September of 2022, that is, and about 2 months after my training is when I was able to get promoted into the networking engineering role. And if I'm being completely transparent with you guys, because I'm not going to be one of those gurus that are trying to just make it appear as if I'm more knowledgeable about a subject than what I really am. I'll tell you in a minute if I don't know it, if it happened by accident, if it happened by a networking connection, etc. I don't want to come off as if I put in all of this work and this, that, and the third in order to get somewhere. And that's exactly what happened when it came down to me becoming a network engineer, which, you know what, that might be a good video to do for my the next video that I roll out for you guys. I don't know, I'm gonna have to think on that one. But so that's a little bit of the backstory on me, because I don't know about you guys, but when I research things like this, I'm not necessarily trying to take notes from somebody who didn't quite lay out why it is that they're qualified to drop those gems on me. So that's that. And I do have my notebook here. Like, it is filled with stuff that I hope is very helpful for you guys to get into the tech space as well, because tech is where the bag is at. You could work from home. It is the future. Listen, I could go on and on and on about what the benefits are and why it is so amazing. But you guys already know that, because that's how you ended up here. You're trying to figure out how to get into it. So without further ado, let me get into that. And I'll start off by saying, I have a love-hate in relationship with people saying that they want to get into tech. I myself have used that phrase quite often. So I'm certainly not bashing anybody. I'm not trying to throw no shade, but I'll compare it to this. So how many of you guys know nurses, doctors, radiologists, anybody within the healthcare field? We all do. We pretty much all do. So how would you perceive it if somebody, or maybe you're in the healthcare field, how would you perceive it? And if somebody came up to you and said, hey, I see that you got that nice whip, you pulling up to a fly ass crib. How do you get into healthcare? What would be the first thing that you said to them, or that you would expect somebody to say to you? The very first thing that they will most likely say is, well, this is what I do within this space, but what is it that you're looking to do? That way they can direct you to, if they're on that type of time. Some people be trying to gatekeep and stuff like that. As you can see, my channel is literally designed to help everybody around me to build a community. So I'm not on that type of time. But if they're also, just as willing to help, they would most likely say, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a nurse? Do you want to be a surgical technologist? That's what I have my associate's degree but that's another story for another day, y'all. Do you want to be a doctor? They would list all of these careers and say, what is it that you will want to do? And then I can give you more specific advice to help you pivot into that specific role, perhaps. Same thing with tech. So when we walk around saying, I want to get into tech, I want to get into tech, I want to get into tech, sometimes it's hard for other people to give you direction or even take you serious in some instances, because it's kind of an indication that you may not know exactly what it is that you want to do. And you need to do a little bit more research before approaching the person that that you're seeking advice from. Again, I'm not like that. Feel free to drop comments, DMs, messages. My email is connect@Deondra.Dev. And I will most certainly respond when I can and to the best of my ability. But a lot of people feel like that because at the end of the day, technology is a field, just like healthcare is a field, just like education is a field, and so on and so forth. So the first thing to do, if you're trying to get into tech, is to research what's available. Do you want to be a software engineer? Do you want to be a data analyst? Do you want to be a project manager? Do you want to be a somewhere within the cybersecurity space like me? That's what I eventually want to do. But cyber, a quick note, because cyber is near and dear to my heart, and what I'm trying to do is one of those things where you don't want to go into it, or it's discouraged rather, because you can. I ain't telling nobody what they can't do, but it's kind of discouraged to go into it without having some type of foundational knowledge on about the field itself. So I think I used this example in another video. And did I release the video yet? I don't know, y'all just be recording stuff for real, not even gonna hold you. But it's kind of like if you were a bouncer, for example. Okay, if you're a bouncer, don't you want that bouncer to be familiar with the area? Don't you want them to know what a fake ID looks like? Don't you want them to work out? You want them to be equipped to protect what it is that you're entrusting them to protect. Same thing with cyber. It's cyber security, it's security. So you don't necessarily want to go into it, even if, well, at least I don't. I'm gonna just keep it on the I don't, and a lot of recruiters don't typically seek out people who have no experience to just start protecting software and data systems and businesses' most prized possessions, because that's why we're there, to make sure that nobody's hacking, nobody's accessing passwords that they shouldn't be, nobody's planting bugs and worms and things like that into our systems. So I got off on a little bit of a rant there with cyber, but yes, so cyber, QA, quality assurance, to test out different softwares and make sure that it's user friendly and that there are no bugs that need to be fixed and things of that sort. So there's a plethora of other job titles that you can look into, positions, roles, etc. But that is the very first step that you want to do. That way you can, or even if you narrow it down to one or two fields or whatever, that way you can compare them and really like dig a little deeper as to what it is that you need to do to get into that field. Number two kind of lines up with number one. So as far as researching, what you also want to research is your area. What is in your area? If you're in some country bumpkin town outside of this major city, or you're in the middle of nowhere, you can still get into tech. That's fine. There's remote jobs, there's hybrid options, you can work for yourself, do freelance projects. The world is really yours regardless of where you live, but you do have to be realistic as to what it is that you're pursuing. How many of those jobs are available in the location that you are in, the geographical region that you are in, or willing to relocate to? Because a lot of these jobs, if you come in with the right skill set, with the right soft skills, because everything isn't tech. You have to know how to talk to people. You have to know how to send a professional email. You have to know how to not say like that's one of my biggest hiccups. I am a like person. I'm still working on that. Case in point, I'm not perfect. I know I got some work to do. You can still maneuver your way through the space, but you just have to be a little bit more strategic and perhaps willing to relocate, or you just have to be willing to be flexible if you know that where you're at is not exactly booming for this particular field. So when you look up these salaries, I need you guys to look up national, regional, industry. So is it banking? Is it education? Is it tech within tech? The industry within the tech space that you'll be serving, and local salaries. Once you compare that, Then at that point, number 3, you need to research how in demand that your job or potential job, potential field is. Are you willing to relocate if it's not in demand, or if there's no, or if there are remote options, but sometimes these remote options will say, well, you have to live in the state of Utah, even though it's remote. So that is definitely key for at least for me. I can't tell nobody what to do or how to do it, but that's what I would do. And quite honestly, that is what I did. Now, luckily, I am centered in a city that I would say it's a college town. Like, there are colleges all around me. There's medical campuses. There are basically a lot of institutions that need technical support and need various roles within the tech space. So I am blessed and grateful to have that surrounded by me. Now, that don't mean that I don't have to put in the work, that I don't have to learn the skills, etc. But I am, again, blessed and grateful that that is available to me where I'm at currently. Actually, let me just stop numbering these because I was just writing for you guys earlier, and
some of these numbers, apparently I can't count. I want to get into tech, but can't count.
I don't know. So next, again, not numbering, don't say number 4, Deondra, just talk. The next thing that you need to do is look up live job descriptions. Stop. This is what we all collectively need to stop doing. Because I did this at first too. I was like, okay, boom, I want to get into cybersecurity. It sounds like a lit position. It sounds like a good fit for my personality, for my overall being. And what I did was I immediately went into YouTube and Reddit and all of these places that I just love to do my research, at. And I said, hey, how do you get into cybersecurity? Don't do that, y'all. I mean, it's okay. Pull up a YouTube search here or there. I mean, hey, you clicked on this video. So YouTube is not the end all be all, and it's definitely a great resource. But the very first thing that you need to be doing is checking job descriptions, and not just on Indeed. Please, y'all, please get out of Indeed land. Indeed is great. I done got a few jobs from Indeed. I think, if I'm not mistaken, my current job that I'm at, I found on Indeed. Indeed is great, but Indeed is not the end all be all. There is LinkedIn, there is Dice.com, there is, if you're in school like myself, there oftentimes, almost 100% of the time, there is some type of career connection portal on your school's website that often has recruiters that are directly looking for their graduates. There are workforce development job portals. So like within your local communities, there's usually some type of workforce development office that you can get to that doesn't, either on their website or within the actual physical location, that has various job listings. You guys need to be very creative and very diverse with your search when you're looking for job descriptions, so you can know what's out there, you can know salary ranges, you can know what's expected. So that's where I'm getting at for this next tip, is look up real job descriptions. Once you look up those real job descriptions, you'll see exactly what it is that employers want from you. So, or what they claim they want from you, because that's a tip too. They'll say 3 to 5 years of experience, but if your portfolio is stepping, if your soft skills, if you smooth with your mouth, if you are dedicated, and you show them that you're willing to learn, that you're flexible, that you're all these things that recruiters like to see, don't let certain job descriptions, don't just be like, all right, I'm not gonna look at that one because ain't no way that I would be selected. No. Look at all of these job descriptions, what they're looking for, what type of software, languages that they're expecting you to know, or what type of projects that you may have worked on in the past. What does your portfolio look like? Make sure that you are gathering information about what they want from you, and then containing this information in little categories as to what it is that you're willing to do, willing to learn, etc. The next tip is, what I did at least, is I went ahead and I found the cheapest, fastest route for entry level knowledge and for the bulk of the jobs that I was looking for. Okay, I shouldn't have read that off directly like that, but to break that down, when I knew that I wanted to get into cybersecurity, the first thing I did was, like I said, went on YouTube, things like that. But I also looked at boot camps and different programs, and people online are saying I could show you how to do this, that, and the third for this amount of money. And honestly, before it even comes to any of that, I feel the best route to go is to pick up a book at your local library. Even if you go on Amazon, Kindle, I got Kindle Unlimited. So for me, it's free, not free, but you get what I'm saying. Is I'm not spending a substantial amount of money a lot of times for books, because they're either discounted or literally just free included in the membership, like $10 a month, guys. But there's LinkedIn Learning. There's all of these resources that are $10 and under, $20 and under. If your budget is $50 and under, if your budget is free, there are free resources that you can take advantage of in order to teach yourself these skills. And at that point, when you do that, you'll know exactly if you're interested, if it's too hard, if you need to reach out for a tutor. If you can't see yourself doing this type of work, maybe it's not too hard. Maybe you don't need a tutor, but maybe it's too repetitive for you and you need something that's more, if you want to become a project manager, but you're an introvert like myself, I don't know. Cause like personally, I have about 6 years of experience within the human services field, most of that being in management, but I'm introverted. I'm not even gonna hold you guys. I know people be like, I'm introverted with extroverted qualities. No, I'm introverted with introverted qualities. I'm on camera now, exposing myself and allowing myself to be vulnerable with the World Wide Web, people that I don't know, because it's important to me, for me to build my own platform that is educating, especially us, y'all, especially us, educating us on how to get into tech, how to succeed, how to secure this bag. Eventually, I want to expand to educating children about within the STEM field. So I am literally pushing myself past comfortable limits based on my personal passion. I'll put it that way. And that's fine because it's a personal passion. But when you're on the job and you're introverted, and I know this about myself, I'm introverted, it may not necessarily be a good fit for you. So that's something else that you need to make sure that you're evaluating. And that's the reason why I personally did not go through with the project management field. It would have been an excellent pivot. I have the skills, the knowledge. I am extremely resourceful. I can turn a budget and crunch out some numbers that look crazy. I can make $2 look like 200. I'm a single mom, so I'm really about that life when it comes down to being creative, when it comes down to using what you have, direction, delegation, etc. But I am not a people person. So I am a people person. Let me slow down. I'm not some rude, cranky, miserable curse word, but it just wasn't a good fit. So after exploring what was a good fit, that's how I ended up in cyber. And I would suggest that you do the same. Explore, have a serious conversation with yourself about what a day-to-day look like, what a day-to-day entails for people within that space. And then at that point, feel free to get on YouTube. And although some of them, they be romanticizing the whole tech. Tech isn't just you get on a computer, you send an email, you solve a problem in a few minutes, and you are like, that's not tech. Tech is a lot, if we're being honest. So take it with a grain of salt. But if you see obvious repeated patterns of what a day-to-day looks like, just proceed with caution. That's all I'm gonna say, because I feel like I'm beating a dead horse right now. So the next tip is, I put free resources, but I kind of already touched on that. You don't necessarily have to spend $100 on a textbook, $200 on this random person that you found on Instagram's course, thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars on a boot camp. Literally, there are free resources out there. There are free boot camps. There are scholarships so that your schooling can be free. There are free codes, like especially if you get into these Facebook groups, y'all. Get into Facebook groups, get into Discords, get into chats, get into these online forums. And a lot of people who are just as passionate as I am about spreading the word, they'll actually, or even recruiters, they'll actually, they have access to discount codes and things that make getting into conferences and gathering certain study materials free, or exam certifications free or low cost. So definitely look into that. If your studying session, if your research session, if your gathering of knowledge about this field that you want to pursue, for example, if you want to be a website developer, after everything that you have gathered, or if you want to be a sales engineer, after everything that you have gathered passes the vibe check, now it's time to start researching. How fast do you want to get into this field? What route do you want to go? And I do have an excellent video about how I made the decision between self-study, boot camp, and colleges, because I would say that those are the top three most popular routes for breaking into an entry-level position within this field. My next tip is to, once you've created your personalized path, so for me, that looked like X. I tried the studying route, guys. I wanted to be a coder so bad. When it was panorama, the panorama that we just experienced within the last few years, I was looking at coding videos, software development videos back to back to back to back to back. And after attempting that myself and going the self-study route, it wasn't for me. It was not for me. They were talking about loops and strings and syntax and just things that I couldn't quite grasp on my own, or that I probably could have, but I was uninterested in doing so. And I kept it moving, and that's fine. That don't make you a failure. That don't mean that you're not meant to be in this field. That don't mean that you can't get a piece of the pie. That piece just might not be for you. So definitely make sure that you're joining these Facebook groups and things like that. Hell, you can even ask ChatGPT nowadays, which is tech. Years ago, we didn't have a ChatGPT, a AI to be breaking down concepts and putting us on to certain things and informing us about things within seconds, y'all. We didn't have that. So like, literally go out there and utilize everything that you can on the World Wide Web. Maybe you don't have people around you that are in this space. Maybe you have people around you that are saying, oh, that sounds hard, or that's going to take a long time for you to break into that. I've had people doubt me all my life, and this breaking into this field was no different. Don't listen to that. Find you your tribe online. That's what I'm currently doing. Constantly networking with people that are like minds, that are on the same type of time that I am, where I can provide value and still receive value, because it ain't about just take. Like, it's okay to slide in a few DMs, but it's also important to give that knowledge in order each one teach one. So yeah, if you don't have it around you in a physical sense, create it. And as far as I'm concerned, and from my experience, those have been the best ways for me to build that online community and just support and networking, literally, no pun intended, that you're going to need in order to maneuver this space and to grow, because tech is constantly changing. obviously tech in the 90s looked different than the early 2000s versus now. I mean, it's still the early 2000s, but you get what I'm saying. Versus now, it's constantly changing. So if you think that you can get into this field, get one certification, and look up and kind of like slide into a role and just stay stagnant, not talk to nobody, not try to network, not go to it, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get left behind. So to avoid all of that, network. And the best way that you know how, based on what your situation is and how comfortable you are, if you're introvert, extrovert, it's important to network regardless. The next thing that I would suggest is to stay informed about tech news. This kind of goes back to what I was saying. Tech is constantly changing, it's constantly advancing. That is literally what tech is in a sense. It is for these systems constantly evolving in order to serve us as humans. In a minute, I feel like tech gonna be serving tech because that's how advanced we're getting with this. And to wrap this all up, because I told myself this was not about to be no super long video, I'm like, Deondra, do not drag it past a half an hour because just don't. Like, we all is on limited time and we got things to do. So my last tip is to apply for interviews. And I know this is like subjective, and I low-key feel like this may come back to haunt me in the future, and recruiters may not even be happy with what I'm about to say. But when you have done all of the things that I have just mentioned, the very last step that I would recommend is to apply for jobs and interview with every last one of them. Now, if you know there's a job that you absolutely want to get in the future, and you know that you're not quite ready, or you're unsure if you're ready, maybe don't apply to Meta and Google and all of these, the FANG, the top, which just look it up, y'all. But FANG is known as like these top tech companies, Facebook, Apple, companies that you know, that have these high expectations, of course, because they're high level companies and they're big, huge corporations that make lots of money. So they're dependent on people like us that know what we're doing. So they have high expectations, but the salaries, the salaries is crazy. And don't let these tech layoffs fool you. So even though there is plenty of layoffs and things like that going on, there are still plenty of companies, big, small, startups, and everywhere in between that will pay you for your skill set. So make sure that you're interviewing with them, but not the people that you may really want, but aren't yet ready for, because you don't want to blow it with your dream job because you weren't, you know, it was a little premature for you. So you don't want to do that. But if it's a job that's in West Bumba, go ahead and apply. Go ahead and apply and really get an idea of what these recruiters are asking you, what it is that they expect you to know, what is the company culture, benefits packages, salary negotiations, etc. So that when it is your time to shine and you know you're ready and you know that you're a valuable asset and you know that you're ready to step into the workforce and deliver, and they got to deliver too, you'll be ready. And you'll be, even if you're not ready, you'll be a lot more comfortable and not necessarily taken aback or surprised by what it is that that is expected of you. So, I feel like I just went on like a 30-minute rant, but I'm coming really close to that 30-minute mark that I told myself I wouldn't go over. Any questions, comments, concerns, you guys know where to find me, Deondra.Dev on all platforms. I hope to see you guys soon. My next video, which I forgot just that fast what it was that I said I was going to touch on. But, how I became a network engineer, duh. But yeah, that's that. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you.